You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lane. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And welcome to this week's edition of The Mountain Gardener. Your host, Ken Lane, here every week, talking about the landscapes of northern Arizona. And it is the harvest is on. We're eating from the gardens now. Not quite enough to start canning, but darn close. Well, enough peaches. We have so many peaches this year, and they're gigantic. Tons of tomatoes. Lisa was asking me earlier, she's going, are you growing a tomato that's green out there, or should it be turning colors? And so I went, nope, they're all red tomatoes. It's just I have different sizes of the fruit size. The plants are the same size, but the fruit is changing. So the smaller cherries, we've been picking those for a month. The medium-sized fruits, we've been picking for since July 1st. The really big ones, the brandy wines, the great big slicers, those take a long time to produce that fruit. So they're starting to get pretty big. There's a lot of them, but it's going to take a few more weeks before you can start harvesting those. Typically, you'll start harvesting in July, into June, July, the smaller ones. And then as you get closer to fall, I would say end of August, September, you're starting to pick the really big boys. And so that's what's going on there. I did notice I do have some bugs. They were on my watermelon. I've got some beautiful, gigantic watermelons. Some of the funky, weird, you can't find these at the grocery store. You have to grow them yourself, some of those. A big, beautiful plant. I'm going, now, what is going on? There's little flying bugs around, and I'm looking at it because there's a little shininess to it. They were on my cucumbers. The cucumbers were mutated. They weren't forming nicely. So I got down on my hands and knees. Literally, you have to do this sometimes. Picked up the foliage, looked underneath the leaves, and they were covered with aphids. So I took my spinosad soap. I've fallen in love with that particular spray. It is highly effective. It's a soap, but it also has spinosad, which is a new organic that takes out the insects that eat the foliage. So caterpillars typically. Highly effective. I went through, and here's the painful part for you folks. You novice gardeners, you'll need to hear this. You experienced gardeners, you go, oh yeah, that's what you got to do. Yep, I get it. I did the same thing. Bugs hang out on the bottom side of the leaves. They don't want to be exposed to sun. They dry up and they vaporize, or they're eaten by ladybugs or praying mantis right now. So they are hiding underneath the shade and the coolness of the bottom side of the leaf. In fact, you don't even have to waste energy or time spraying the top of the foliage. Just focus on the bottom side. So I literally lifted up the foliage. I'd spritz a few of them. And a watermelon's a very large plant. This is like 4 feet by 8 feet type plant. And I sprayed all of it. So I lifted up a vine, spritzed, lifted up a vine, spritzed, didn't take very long. And I'm spraying organic, so it's safe to get a little bit on you. Wash your hands, use some common sense. Don't spray the birds and your dog, but common sense. But I could spray it underneath there, and I don't have to worry as much than some toxic thing like malathion. I would never do that with malathion. That's the most deadly killer stuff you could want to handle. But the organics are just as effective, and you got to be strategic and spray underneath the foliage. That's the thing, foliage underneath side. I see a lot of rookie moves where they're spraying on top and thinking all their problems are going away. If you've got I had a sage plant, beautiful culinary sage, big, established. I'm going, now what is going on with you? What is happening here? They're communing to me. I'm listening. I hear you. I feel your pain. I get down on my hands and knees because a sage is only about knee high. So you got to get down in there and take a look. Started lifting up some of the foliage, looking towards the inside of this shrub kind of plant. And the thing came alive. I mean, little tiny white flies were going everywhere. I went, okay, I see you were talking to me. I hear you. I'm here for you. I will be your doctor, and we will solve this problem together. So I went down and got my spinosad and soap, sprayed down, not the bottom of the foliage, but sage is kind of thick and full and bushy, like a hedge. So I kind of opened up the middle of the bush and I spritzed down inside, trying to get the bottom of the leaves and inside the core, because little tiny bugs, they don't like to see the sun. They don't want to be exposed to birds, praying mantis, ladybugs, lacewings, all these beneficial insects, predatory wasps. There's all kinds, flies. They'll all eat aphids. So they're hanging out trying to stay cool and out of the way of predators. So you got to be a predator. Think like they do and go after them, poof, on the inside of that. And lo and behold, I fertilized both. I had my little watering can. I put a couple scoops of, I put exactly 3 scoops of Flower Power. This is a water-soluble food. The water activates this fertilizer in it, so it's instantly available to the plant. So I spritzed the whole thing, and I gave it some magic Flower Power juice. And a week later, literally it took almost, days, you could watch this thing recover. You take the pressure of the insects off, and you give it a little boost with some stuff it likes, fertilizer. And they just ignite. They're just going, thank you. Oh, I love you so much. They express their love to you, and they start growing like mad, like crazy. And so I've got brand new foliage on the sage. My watermelons look better than ever. And my cucumbers, they were so sad. I just felt for them. Now they're pushing on new growth. I picked the few cucumbers that were on it because they were kind of deformed. What aphids do, here's really what's going on. They pierce the leaf or the stem of the plant, and they literally suck the plant dry. And so there's no extra kind of sap, extra juice in the plant to give to the watermelons or the cucumbers, the tomatoes or the flowers, whatever it is. They typically don't kill the plant. They just stress it out so much that it can become susceptible to other diseases. So you really don't, you want to take that pressure off, but they're so easy to kill. The little tiny bugs of summer are so easy that if you take any kind of care at all, the plants just rebound. Now, what I'm finding is the bugs, everything grows faster in summer. Your plants grow faster, they bloom bigger, they bloom more, and so do the bugs. And so you want to be consistent with this. Be on them. Don't let the pressure off. Go all marine on them. You Marines, you hear me, right? Just take the beach, take it. It's ours. You're not coming back here because I'm coming after you again. And so you got to keep checking them weekly. Pick a day. On Mondays, I take my coffee cup and I go check my plants to make sure they're healthy. If you don't know how to speak plant, get down on your hands and knees and take a look. Get closer. Listen. They're whispering. They're telling you, help me. I need help. And then you'll typically see what's going on because you're there. You're close enough. But go for the underneath. Go for the inside. Take that pressure off and then fertilize them. Give them a boost. They want to go. Plants do not want to die. They want to live. They want to grow and make you proud. They want to reproduce. They want to bloom more. They want to have bigger fruits. They want to have more of them. They want to show off. And so you just have to care for them a little bit. And that's why they respond so well to gardeners. Gardeners, we get a kick out of this. We speak plant, and then we can react and help them. And we see the direct benefit literally within days. It just goes right off. My thyme lawn. So I've only got a minute left. I got to go over grubs because I had a spot that was just giving me grief. I killed 3 plants in the spot. I'm going, what the heck is going on? I'm a gardener. This should not happen. I figured it out. I know why. And it was grubs. I'll tell you how I figured it out and what I did about it. So, and I got frustrated and I abandoned that entire part of the garden. I just said, I'm going to go, I'll tease you. We got to bring Lisa Watters Lain in with your garden questions. And at the bottom of the hour, how about that? I'll go deep into that. What I did, that was this week's garden project, and it looks magical. The neighbors are all talking about it. I feel good about it. Oh my gosh, so excited. Lisa's coming right up. Don't go away.
Butterflies bring magic to the garden, and attracting those winged wonders is easy with Watters' Butterfly Plant Collection.
Watters specializes in local plants and knows exactly which plants butterflies adore.
We create a natural, safe, and organic space for you and your beautiful butterflies.
Visit Watters Garden Center at 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
Or online at wattersgardencenter.com.
Smell the flowers that butterflies love and turn gardens into a butterfly paradise. And we are back with Lisa Watters Lain in the studio. She comes each week with your garden questions. Stop looking at yourself on the camera, my dear. You look fantastico. Welcome to the studio, Lisa.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, this is also audio, video. It's everything. Technology is amazing.
Yes, it is.
So this is podcast over Apple and Spotify and everywhere else it takes video. And then, of course, it goes over the terrestrial radio waves throughout Arizona, basically. So it's picked up. We have a following in New Zealand I was watching.
Really?
Yep. Big time.
Who knew?
Not big time. I think there were three.
Well,
three Aussies, 3 Kiwis. Sorry, I just insulted all of our New Zealand listeners. I apologize.
Boy, we used to have 3.
I am so American. Please forgive me. I can get over it. Anyway, so this is about garden questions. What are people seeing in the gardens? So why don't we jump right in and see what's going on?
All right. Our first question is from Rob. He's in Prescott.
Hey, Rob.
He had a large maple, fairly mature. It was dying off on one side. Yeah. He found the gopher and disposed of the gopher that was causing the die-off. But his question is, will that one side regenerate, or is it always going to look funky?
Yeah, good question, Rob. So Rob, the listeners, not just Rob, anytime you've got a tree that is full and glorious on one side and struggling and wispy and thin on the other side, that means those roots on that side are being stressed out somehow. Gophers are an obvious choice here in Arizona or the Southwest. In the East Coast, it might be what are they called? Moles. So we have moles. On the East Coast, we don't have those here. It might be prairie dogs. That's a northern part, but it could be grubs, little tiny insects eating the roots, but something's going on. And so, Rob, good for you, man. You caught it. That's awesome. And then disposed of, you did it so diplomatically. I would have said killed him and all of his family. They're eating my maple tree. Will it recover? That's the bottom line question. Yes, it might take a season or two. So those roots will have to regrow, and you want to encourage new root growth. How do you do that? Right now, take total advantage of the rains. Anything stressed right now, fertilize it with 744 all-purpose plant food. That's a no-brainer. That's going to allow the few foliage that's left to get bigger, healthier, stronger, greener. But in addition, add to that fertilizer humic, Humic, humic. It's a granular. It looks like coffee grounds, only it's got a richer, earthier smell to it. You put that on top of the ground, pray for rain. The monsoons will definitely give you an advantage. That'll get down, it'll percolate into the soil, and it will regenerate root growth. It feeds the soil is what it does. So the worms are more active, mycorrhizal colonies, all the good stuff in the ground. And when the plant goes, wow, the ground, there's something going on here. It's alive. The plant goes, I think I'll send some roots off here. So it kind of tickles the feet so that it pulls the roots down deeper, and it boosts the mycorrhizal energy of the soil. So the mycorrhizals are the things that attach themselves to new root growth, and it elongates kind of a symbiotic relationship with the roots to elongate those so the plant can absorb. And within a season, by next spring's growth, you'll never know that gopher was ever there. And so that's kind of how you get past that. But I would do that now, Rob, immediately. Like you should feel the pressure, like before the next rainstorm, now. And then I would follow up again in like October. And with those two things, those two fertilizing and humic applications, it's going to set the stage for fantastic new growth next spring. And you'll never know the thing was damaged. Gophers are bad. They're underground rats. They deserve to die. I mean, rats. You should not have rats in your yard.
Are you done?
Not really. I hate gophers. They eat plants. I mean,
they are. They're very destructive. Plants. I agree. They are bad.
Frustrated.
Okay, we'll change topics. Shannon is in Prescott. She has a very shady corner of her yard, but she wants some shrubs there that'll get 5 to 6 foot high. She wants to know what you would recommend.
Oh, easy. I love it when pretty gals ask my advice.
How do you?
Don't you like that? Yeah. Hey, could you tell me something? Anyway, I don't know how I got there derailed. Shannon, we can help you with this. Super easy. So it's evergreen, and there's some shady things. And so I'd say the number one selling of all of them, there's so many. Hollies are perfect for that shadier area. Yews, there's a spreading yew that stays shorter like that. You could easily trim it up. Evergreen, it loves the shade. Daphne, it's a great little fragrant flower. Gardenia, great little evergreen with a fragrant flower. Hibiscus, loves the shade. We got an entire, not hibiscus, hydrangea.
Oh, thank you. I was going
take
hibiscus.
That. No, I'm sorry. Hibiscus
Thought
loves
you'd
the
lost
sun.
your mind for a minute.
Hydrangea likes the shade. My
Yeah.
bad. Too many H's in my head. There's a whole section here, Sam. You should come down and just peruse the shady section. I would even include something a little bit shorter, like hostas, in a shaded area. They're amazing here, but they need the shade. If you get them in the right spot, they can get up to knee high, even a little bit taller with this beautiful white fragrant flower. Great perennial for here. Heucheras. We can go on and on and on. Lots and lots of plants you can plant now.
Camellia.
And enjoy camellias. Yeah, I mean, we could probably, there's probably 20, 30 plants. It's more than one email can handle. You got to come visit us here at Watters Garden Center. There you go. We'll leave it at that.
All right. We got time for another question. Trying to see who.
I'll fill in while you're
sorry,
reading.
I have to
put those cheaters on so you can read that email.
Okay, this is from Doug. It's actually a good question. So he's going to be planting several spruce and pine trees in the area. He wants to know, does gypsum really help? Everybody says use gypsum when you plant. Is it really, really important, or is there something else that is more important?
Yeah. So Doug, that's a great question. It's a myth. What's true, what's not. Here is what calcium sulfate does, or gypsum. So it does work. And what happens is our water is so alkaline, so high in minerals. As you water, it clogs up and builds. That white ring that builds up in your bathtub or your sink or your toilet, that also builds up in the soil. And so what gypsum does, it helps to flush or percolate or open up the pores of the soil and flush that stuff out. So for established things, lawns, flower beds, roses, great stuff, because you've built up this mineral deposit. For brand new virgin soil, you're putting brand new tree out there, or new flower bed, or new area that hasn't had any of our yucky water going into it. There's nothing to flush out yet. And so really it depends, Doug. It just depends. I would say for established plants, go for it. Good stuff. But for new things, I think you're much better off. A better way to do this is to add more mulch, more organic premium mulch. This is changing the structure of the soil. So the organics in that, your native soil is just terrible stuff. And so if you can add more organics into that, not manure, it's too hot, but organic mulch, that will actually change the structure of the soil so the roots can get through that soil faster, better, stronger, attracts the worms, the mycorrhizal column, the beneficials into the soil. So the plant goes, I think I could grow here. I think I'm going to grow. I think I'm going to root out. Boom. And mulch actually changes the structure of the soil so much that it actually percolates faster, better, stronger. So you're better off doing that more. You almost can't get enough. Is gypsum going to hurt? No. Is it really going to help a brand new planting? No. You're better off adding more mulch. And for you folks in the Midwest, mulch is not bark chips. Okay, we define it here in the West as composted down organic wood materials to this chocolate-like mocha state that just feeds the soil. Plants feed off of that. You're better off doing that. So Doug, hopefully I didn't confuse that enough. Come in and ask us for our planting guide, Doug. We take all the mysteries out of it. With that, we are out of time. Lisa, Watters Lain, and Ken Lane here, the Mountain Gardeners. Watters' garden companion plants for August are radio red salvias, trumpeting vine, and butterfly bush.
Monarch and swallowtail butterflies flock to Watters' butterfly bush with spectacular 8-inch flowers filling the yard with fragrance and beauty.
Heat, drought, wind only make this shrub bloom more. Tough enough to grow in clay, but hardy enough to shine in containers.
With so many colors to choose, every yard should have at least 2.
You'll only find impressive butterfly bush at Watters Garden Center in Prescott. So I mentioned I had a spot out by the road, I mean, the front. It's embarrassing. Neighbors going by, hey, there's Ken. He owns a garden center. Look at that thing. That plant keeps dying. And I go, what the heck? I've replaced the soil. I know there's some root competition from some other trees around, but I'd cleared those out, cut them out. And I was digging. I was going to plant a new rose. It's a beautiful new Grace and Grit rose, shrub rose, easiest to care for of all the roses. They bloom constantly. It was a strong plant, the perfect size. It just fit. I started digging in this part of this raised bed of all things by the mailbox. And I started hitting rocks. I'm going, okay, that could be part of it. I got some roots. I cut those out. And then it happened. I started finding these ugly C-shaped worms, grubs, white grubs. They were the size of maybe a quarter. They weren't gigantic. They weren't small, but they were numerous. And I'm going, oh, now I get it. Now I know why my plants were dying. They were doing so great for 2 years. All of a sudden they're croaking in the heat. What is going on? Here's what grubs do and what grubs are. So grubs, they are a beetle. So you've seen the beetles flying around at night all over the place. The big ones, the small ones, they're just flying around. June beetles, big rhino needles. They're all kinds of beetles. And so they don't grow up looking like that. They've got a larva stage called a grub. So they live virtually their entire life underground. And then they're kind of like a butterfly, only they don't just, okay, caterpillars eat foliage like crazy. Well, grubs eat roots like crazy. That's their main diet for a couple of years. They'll be eating the roots on your plants, eating all the starches, all the sugars of the root. And then you see something happen in the middle of summer and you're going, what the heck? It was looking so good. And it just collapsed in the heat. What's happening? The grubs had eaten enough of the roots off the plant. It could not grow them back fast enough. And so literally when the heat came, it didn't have enough roots underneath it to sustain the top growth. And so it croaked, it died. And that's what happened. And now I killed the grubs. We're not going to tolerate that. That is unacceptable at the Lain Casa. That's not going to happen. And so this part of the garden is beautiful. It's premier. It's showpiece. It's like the central place you look in my gardens. I had to have it look stunning. I want to come home, drive in my driveway and go, oh, I love coming home to you plants. You just make me happy. Look at the style, the design, the fragrance, the butterflies, the hummingbirds. Oh my gosh, I love coming home. That's how I want to feel when I drive back to my house. That's how I want to feel when guests come over, when family comes over, when neighbors walk by. I want to be proud of my gardens. I'm a gardener. That's what gardeners do. And so this plant, I actually abandoned this hole because I've killed 3 plants. I went, okay, that's it. 3 strikes and you're out at the Lain. We're not doing that. And I tried a lot of stuff. So I put grub killer down, killed the grubs because I know there are more grubs in the surrounding soils, not just that one plant. And so I've treated all of the plants. I figured, I'm going to put antibiotic basically for all the plants here. So grubs are dead. Not going to happen here. So the beetles, they come in and they find nice, rich soils and they start laying eggs because you're going, oh, nice, rich soils that stay moist. That's where I want my babies to grow up. And there'll be plenty of roots growing in there. Normally they're used to eating weeds, roots like dandelions, but instead they get these luscious hibiscus and salvias and evergreens. I'm gonna lay eggs here. And then all of a sudden you don't even see them coming at you by the dozens, if not more. And so there, after I got done filling back that hole, I did not plant the rose. I put a piece of large flagstone over that raised bed piece. So it's laying on top of the block that are retaining this thing over the soil. It's perfectly level. It looks beautiful. It looks like it's part of the raised bed. And then I dragged my largest, most beautiful red oxblood container that has a fantail palm. It's stunning. It's a big palm tree in a container. It's been in there for years. It's not supposed to grow in our region, but a gardener, you never tell them that. A gardener will find a way to grow a plant even when you tell them they can't. Well, I like palm trees. They give that exotic Mediterranean look. It's got creeping thyme around the edges. So I dragged that up there, made a little ramp so I can get it up in over the ankle busting rocks, these little tiny riprap, so they call it. But okay, I'm gonna have to make a path because I can't keep this palm out here in the winter. I'm gonna drag it back where I normally store it under the patio. I'm gonna bring out my Tanioshio pine, which is also showy in the winter. So I'm gonna trade them off, and it's gonna be striking, designer-esque. It's gonna be whoa. I love that guy. Must own a garden center, and you'd be right. So that's kind of what I did. I kind of went, grubs are bad. I killed them. And when I have a hole that's just struggling, I just stop doing that. And I bring a container out and I just replace it that way. Sometimes you got to stop beating your head into the garden soil and just go realize, maybe if I just bring a beautiful glazed pot, or hey, just go with statuary or a beautiful water feature or something, but stop planting in that soil. It's just going to keep killing things. Anyway, that's what I did. Hey, my name's Ken. We're just neighbors talking over the back fence. This worked for me. I'm just human too. Happen to be a radio host, own a garden center, but I happen to be a gardener too. And I hope the tips help you in your gardens. Hi, Watters with the plants of the week and our gold flame honeysuckle.
Wonderfully fragrant. These blooms are in full color right now and will stay that way until the first frost of October.
These pink and gold blooms are irresistible to hummingbirds and butterflies alike.
Excellent as a quick ground cover, but robust enough to climb vertical structures and fences.
Watters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Preston. And back in the studio, my favorite gal in all the world. Anyway, my gal, this segment's all about her gardening. Just what does she see through a different set of lenses, a different set of beautiful eyes, what's going on in the garden. So she comes each week and shares with you just her take on gardening the mountains of Arizona. Welcome back to the studio, Lisa.
Thank you.
What you got for us?
Well,
mesmerizes.
First thing I want to show off is a pretty little annual plant called a pinta.
Pinta.
So we're kind of...
Sounds like the name of a horse.
It does. It's actually a botanical name. Did you know that?
I did.
It's because it has the 5 points. The flower point makes 5 points. So it's just pinta. Anyways.
That shows up on the camera or not. I didn't notice that, but it is a 5-star flower.
Hence the name
pentagram.
Pinta.
Pentagram. Pinta. Oh, I always thought it was just a bad name. I would have called it butterfly.
It is. It's a wonderful little butterfly attractor. The great thing about this plant is it is an annual, but it loves the heat.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes by this time of year, flowers in some of our pots and our little beds have kind of gone, I've had enough. I'm just done. And this little guy takes over, loves the heat. It's going to bloom continually until we get a hard frost. And the other wonderful thing about it is a great hummingbird attractor.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, butterflies and hummingbirds and fairies.
Yes. And it comes in reds, it comes in pinks, whites, purples, violets, I guess. Anyways, I just wanted to show it off because
they are great plants. We've got quite a few. And you'll see there's going in Phoenix.
Oh,
in the full heat with vincas and stuff. It looks delicate, but they're just tough. Yeah. They get a thick leathery leaf to it, so that's what makes them real conservative with the water. They get this big flower canopy that shades the foliage underneath, and so it's just a great little plant.
True. Anyways, what I wanted to talk about is trees for those weird yards or weird spots in your yard where you need a narrow tree.
Yeah.
So a lot of us, we want what looks like a spruce tree, but we don't have 20 feet for a spruce tree.
You do get wide.
Or you want a great big maple, but you don't have 15, 20 feet wide to have that maple in there. So they do make a whole series of trees that actually stay more narrow over time. Choice. So they get just as tall, so they give you that height. So you get to see a lot of tree, but you're not getting the width of it.
So the number one that Californians talk about would be like Italian cypress. Is that what you're talking about?
Mhm.
These pencil trees that go
Right.
to the moon, but only get 3 feet wide.
To the moon.
To the moon. Yeah.
Yeah. But these are, everybody thinks Italian cypress,
Yeah.
but there's some other ones too that actually are pretty cool. So there's one called the slender silhouette sweet gum.
You say that 10 times
I
fast.
know I harbored my S's anyway.
Slender silhouette.
So sweet gums are usually actually a
right.
pretty big tree, but they're a really cool tree, and then their color is spectacular.
Yeah.
They have a beautiful fall color to them. Nice green, rich leaf in the summertime, beautiful fall color. But usually they're just huge. But this one is definitely smaller. It only gets about 6 foot tall, 6 foot wide. It's
Nice.
about 30 foot tall.
Oh, nice.
So it can fit into those certain areas in your, like a perfect corner. If you've got a corner spot in your yard that needs a spot, definitely one to think
down
of.
a property line or something,
Mhm.
down a driveway,
Driveway.
or off the back patio. You need some
Mhm.
shade or windbreak off that
Right.
over the corner. Yeah.
Yeah. The other one is they call it a kindred spirit oak.
Perfect.
So it has an oak leaf, like a big northern red oak. But there again, it's getting about 25, 30 foot tall, 6 to 8 foot wide.
Okay.
Another one for good fall color.
And that's related. That one specifically is related to our pin oak, the wild one, the native one. So once you get that up to size, it's going to be just tough as nails.
Mhm.
Beautiful red color in the fall.
Right.
It's just a great plant. I
Mhm.
think what was that? The sweet gum. I think that's orange in the fall. Am I
Yes.
right on that?
Yes, sweet gums go orange, and then the oak will go red.
Yeah.
So you need one.
Buy
of each.
2, get 2 goes.
We think alike. And of course, aspen. I think sometimes people don't think of aspens, but they definitely go great in those narrow spaces.
Yeah.
So those are all trees that will lose their leaves. Deciduous trees. So some of the ones that would be more evergreen. So there's a blue arrow juniper.
Perfect.
Which is a nice little tree, kind of a grayish blue color to it.
Like Arizona blue.
Mhm.
Like that color.
Mm-hmm. Gets about 15 foot tall, stays very narrow, about 2 feet across.
Oh.
So
right down a fence line, just down your side yard, where the air conditioner unit is. You need something to make it more garden-esque because you're looking out your window from the kitchen and you see your neighbors.
Right.
Well, there you go.
Or in the front of a house on posts and stuff. It would be really pretty there too. Windward juniper is another one. This one's a little more green to it. Gets a little taller, gets a little wider, 15 by 3.
Okay.
But another and the thing about junipers is what a nice tree for our area. People want to try and put trees in that aren't truly suited and they struggle with them. Yeah. But the junipers, they're like, okay, man, give me more heat.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I'll take some wind. Yeah. Why don't you make it extreme? Let's go 100 in the day and 60 at night. Let's go down to 10 degrees this winter. We're happy with that.
And they're very insect resistant. Yeah. There's hardly any insects that get into those junipers. Another one is Medora juniper. A little shorter, 10 foot by 3 foot, very grayish blue in color again. And then we also have
second page of these things. Amazing.
So they've actually come up with a columnar blue spruce. So if you want that blue spruce, but you just don't have the space to have that great big fat Albert sitting in your yard, go for a columnar one, or what they call it, Festagi.
You're the one with the list.
I forgot there's a certain name for them, Fastigiata. Yeah. So those are the more narrow ones. There's also a really beautiful Scotch pine.
Oh yeah, I love columnar Scotch.
Now most of your Scotch pines are in that 20
by 20.
They get big. But the columnar Scotch pine, about 20, 25 foot tall, but it only gets about 4 foot wide.
The prettiest tree.
It really is. If you want some nice evergreen color, but you just can't take anything that has that huge space.
Still gets that little tiny pine cone. It's just cute. Just like a nice chubby, it's like a chubby teddy bear up there. A giant gnome. Give it some googly eyes. Be perfect. Yeah.
So what I would say about these trees is not like I have 30 of them in stock.
Yeah. Okay.
We have bring in select numbers of them.
You're specialized.
And when they're gone, they're pretty much gone. So if you've been really looking you need something with a slender silhouette, but you want
like my wife. Yep. 37 years.
You're later on
trying to help you
today.
Yeah, well,
my goodness.
Okay.
We have to get a
Maybe
shovel.
there's a
in
reason
here.
for that, honey.
Definitely gonna.
Okay, so
Time to end the show.
there we go. So cylinder, tall, thin, kind of accent trees down driveways, property lines, or wherever you need these smaller yards back in the corners where you just need something tall, but can't take up real estate. These are and this is a great time to be planting trees.
Definitely.
You wanted one of these, you're going to get full root growth. You're going to get some more top growth, and next season you're going to get tremendous new explosive growth for next spring. So great time to plant those cylinder wet trees. And my favorite's probably sweet gum. I just love that orange color.
It's pretty.
Now the evergreens, I like that blue arrow. It's like an Italian cypress, only shapelier.
Yeah.
Watters Lain, the mountain garden. And Watters garden companion plants for August are radio red salvias, trumpeting vine, and butterfly bush.
Monarch and swallowtail butterflies flock to Watters butterfly bush with spectacular 8-inch flowers filling the yard with fragrance and beauty.
Heat, drought, wind only make this shrub bloom more. Tough enough to grow in clay, but hardy enough to shine in containers.
With so many colors to choose, every yard should have at least 2.
You'll only find impressive butterfly bush at Watters Garden Center in Prescott. Well, I was checking my rain gauge, one of those fancy satellite driven, connected to the whole neighborhood. It tracks everything. You can watch the storm. It's right over my roof. I can see the temperature, the rain, I'm kind of a weather nut. I think that a lot of gardeners kind of are. There's probably pills for that or something, but I just have a monitor and I like to look at it. But it shows you all the history of your area. And so in the last couple of weeks, that last storm we had that was pretty big, was that 2 weeks ago, something like that, I had basically 3/4 of an inch in one 2-day event. Most of it came in one day, a little bit started the day before, and then it's been dry ever since. And so for you to figure out how much rain, how deep does it soak, about an inch of rain will penetrate approximately 6 inches of soil. So you folks out in the valley areas, the Pauldens, Chino Valleys, Prescott Valleys, Dewey, Mayer, that whole 69 corridor, you've got heavy clay with caliche. So water does not penetrate heavy clay very far. So maybe it only goes down 4 inches for you. So an inch of rain will penetrate about 4. It stays there, but about 4 inches of soil. If you're closer to the more granity areas like Granite Mountain, Williamson Valley Road, down over the hill towards Skull Valley, Hillside, those areas, they've got more sandy or granity soil. There, that 1 inch of rain might penetrate, 6, 7, 8 inches. Now, 8's optimistic, 6 or 7 inches. And so it depends on your soil type, but that gets you a feel for, should I turn off my irrigation system or should I keep it on? The answer is almost always keep it on, because the amount of rain you saw is nowhere close to what your plants need. What it does, it takes the pressure off a little bit so the surrounding soil doesn't suck all the moisture out of the roots of your plants. But that's kind of get you a feel. So don't feel like you have to change your irrigation right away. Let a couple big events happen. So August is a wet month for us. Typically, hopefully, God willing, please do your rain dances and all that stuff that you do to get rain in the area. We need that. But typically August, the first part of September are wet months. So don't feel like you need to turn that irrigation back too quickly. Let it soak up the surrounding soils. With that being said, I did find a couple spots that there's some erosion issues. So there's a lot of rain all at once. And so if you've got a new build and that road embankment starting to wash away, or you've got a dry wash that filled up and then sort of, taking things away, there are some plants I thought I'd give you that are really good at rooting in deeply and holding hillsides back. And so Groundcovers are kind of a misunderstood kind of a plant category. And it could be vines, it could be shrubs, it could even be some of the shorter ornamental grasses. Grasses hold soil like nothing else. Even when they've been dead for 3 years, those roots are still there, holding the soil together. They're great for the environment in your landscape. But let's go back. So I have an entire section at the garden center that we've curated, and it's just all the knee-high and shorter plants that they spread out wide. And they've got deep roots, but they don't grow very tall. And then we have an entire fast-growing vine section. And let's start with that. So the number one seller by far for erosion control, I put my kids through college with this category of plants, is honeysuckle. Honeysuckle, there's a broad category. I probably have 6 different varieties, colors at the garden center right now. There's a shrub variety, but the vine covers are more popular. Now, a lot of folks think you have to grow a vine up something. That is not true. You can grow it as a ground cover and just let it crawl up and down, holding that embankment intact. So I've seen that done with honeysuckle, with trumpet vine, with Boston ivy, Virginia creeper. There's a lot. In fact, I would say the way vines naturally grow is as ground covers. So don't discount them. Now, if they cut into that embankment and now all of a sudden your back patio is looking up at this gigantic wall and that rain started to have all this rock coming down at you on your patio, vines are a great way to go there. Plant them at the base, encourage them to grow up. So we'll grow them with typically bamboo stakes. And so you'd want to plant it. Then you take those stakes off and you take the tendrils of that vine and you pin it to the wall, or you force it to grow where you want. These are wild plants. They will do their own thing if you don't tame them. So you got to get that bullwhip out and go, whoosh. No, you're not growing there. You're going over here. So I had to redirect my watermelons this week. They were wanting to grow all over my everything. Go, no, boys, this is not where you're going. You're going over in this direction, not there. So it looks better. It's tamed, and that's really gardening, is taming the wild so it looks groomed. And so that's what you're doing also with some of these vines. They grow so fast. Literally, they're growing in the racks 2-3 feet. I mean, if you stand still, they'll start attaching themselves to you going, hey, are we going home? Plant me now. So vines are great. So I would say honeysuckle comes in red, whites, yellows, oranges. There's a lot of different varieties, and animals don't eat them. Javelina and deer and rabbits and pack rats, they don't bother those. And then trumpet vine, I've seen used that way as well. It looks beautiful. The number one native that we have growing in the area is Virginia creeper. It's a 5-petaled, 5-leafed node leaf. It doesn't really bloom. It's most famous for its big, gigantic, rich green foliage that grows fast. It's native. So once it gets established, it's not going anywhere. It'll take care of itself. And then it turns bright red in the fall. I mean, usually October is its month to go, whoa, it just looks so good. So the bright, not just muted red. We're talking like intense, like the brightest crayon in the box, that red. That's the red it turns. So Virginia creeper. Boston ivy is a cousin. They're direct cousins, same DNA, but Boston ivy has 3-leaf node. Virginia creeper has 5-leaf nodes, but they grow very similar. Boston ivy is more orange and red. Virginia creeper is bright red. So those are the vines. The shrubs, you could put them on your drip system, water them once a week, maybe twice a week if they're brand new, but once they're established, maybe once a week would be enough to keep them going. But a knee-high plant could get 6 feet across. So one plant with a drip emitter covers a huge amount of space. This is perfect for rock lawns. If your whole front lawn is nothing but rock and it just looks like too lunar, too dusty, I don't live in the Mojave Desert. I want to live like in the mountains of Arizona. You're going to need some green to soften that up, some live scape, some living material to soften up all that hardscape, rocks, boulders, irrigation fences, that kind of stuff, decks. And so the softscape, the shrubs that look great, the 2 most popular, mainly because of commercial setting, you get a lot of plant for the money. They grow fast. They don't die. So a contractor can put them in. They don't have to worry about them having to come back and replace it within the 2 years of their license. There's a whole thing that they do there. Anyway, cotoneaster or cotton Easter. There's a low-growing variety. Actually, there's 3 or 4 low-growing varieties. Coral Beauty is, I would say, the easiest to grow. Not the easiest. The most established. I don't know. This one I like. There we go. Evergreen Animals don't eat it. It gets a white flower in spring, red berries. So red coral beauty, the coral berries, and it spreads easily. Gets maybe 18 inches high and easily 6 feet across. Beautiful, evergreen, rolling. Because it looks great at the edge of retaining rock or retaining walls and spilling over. A companion to that is there's two basically. One, the most popular is junipers. There's all kinds of creeping junipers. You can't kill a juniper. They're tough. Once they get established, they're just going to keep, and some of them are so low growing, they're basically below ankle height. They look like lawn. You're not going to roll on them and wrestle with the kids, but they look that good, but they're so tough. One drip emitter, the plant will spread out ankle high by 6-8 feet wide. That's what you got. Another one that's a native, there's a ground cover manzanita that's really pretty. It's called knick or bearberry. It's got several names. But it is a manzanita, evergreen, red bark, low growing, so 6 inches at most, and spreads out. And once it gets established, it is going to be as hardy as manzanita, and nothing bothers manzanita. So your pack rats and your javelinas and your deer and your rabbits, all those pests out there, not going to bother it. Those are some great ideas, and there's more. Again, we've curated an entire section of just plants that do this for you. But if you want ground covers, come see me. Be right back. Watters Garden Companion plants for August are radio red salvias, butterfly bush, and trumpeting vine.
Large clusters of red and orange flowers create a dramatic show all season long with Watters trumpet vine.
This vigorous vine thrives in heat and blooms profusely with neglect.
Quickly covers large areas as a ground cover, spilling over retaining walls, screening a fence, or cloaking arbors.
Guaranteed to attract more hummingbirds and only found at Watters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott. I have a super shout out for those that joined us at our first ever Sip and Shop. It was so successful. I think we'll do it again. The team is very jazzed. So last week we had a gathering of our core customers, people that shop here regularly. They're part of us. They're part of our club. We sent them a special invite. If you were left out, just ask to be joined the club. You'll be invited to the next one. But Sip and Shop, we got some sangria. I made my recipe. Got some regular wine in case you don't like sangria. I get it. So I picked some fresh mint from the gardens. We made mint tea, and we just had fancy plastic glasses. They were classy. They weren't just K-cups like in college. We're talking like classy, long-stemmed wine glasses, some cheese platters, just very casual from 4 to 6. Oh, sorry. It was enough to do two hours, but it was after hours. It's the most pleasant. It's my favorite time at the garden center. It's just so the sun is going down. The birds are getting their last, drink of the flowers. It's just so pleasant. The flowers are starting to move. Some of them are starting to close and go, oh, I'm going to put myself to bed now. You can see them actually moving around. And so it's a great time to have a nice glass of wine with a girlfriend or your just neighbors coming over. It was just a fun time. So thank you for supporting that. We did not know how many to plan for. It's our first one. Now we do. The parking lot was packed. Have more. I did tell the crew, I said, listen, buy more wine than we need. We can always reuse it later, or I'll just drink it, put it in the cellar for Christmas. I don't know, holidays. So luckily we put that one spot on. Just the food, just spot on. So, but thank you for supporting that. We had a few had some pitcher plants. If you don't know what pitcher plants are, everyone's thinking of carnivorous plants like the ones with the foliage with the long teeth that kind of grab a fly. Well, pitcher plants, they don't do that. They got a long tubular pitcher, and they got a scent that woos insects into this tube or this pitcher. And once they go in, they never come out. And then the body slowly dissolves in this plant goo that's down in there. It is pretty cool. You will not have bugs in that room if you've got some carnivorous plants in there. We brought some to feature that, had a Thai constellation, over the top Thai constellation monstera. That was our something you can't find except for this event. I think next event, we're going to plan one for August. And I'm not sure how we're going to go about that, but we'll keep you posted. I think we'll have some pre-orders, something you just cannot get. If you're at the event, you can have access to it. If you're not at the event, You're not even told about it. So I'm hearing that is going to be, that's a tweak that some of the crew are planning on. So garden classes every Saturday. This Saturday, let me take a look here. It is bugs, basically pest-free gardens. How do you keep javelina, pack rats, aphids out of the gardens? Next week, it is hot weather blooms for vibrant Prescott gardens. There are some flowers, they just love the heat and they prefer being planted in the heat. We're going to show those off, whether it's crepe myrtles or rudbeckias, what are they, and show them off, and then how to plant them and get them blooming. And then throughout the week, it just keeps going. Gardening for newbies, from newbies to Garden Pro in Arizona, best plants for pollinators in Prescott. It just keeps going. Take a look at wattersgardencenter.com. There's a great big old classes button right there on the front page. You can't miss it. If you're looking Facebook, they're all listed under events. You know how to get there. So throughout the week, Lisa and I camp out here at Watters Garden Center, and we do like talking gardening with fans of the show. Till next week, enjoy everyone.
Butterflies bring magic to the garden, and attracting those winged wonders is easy with Watters Butterfly Plant Collection.
Watters specializes in local plants and knows exactly which plants butterflies adore.
We create a natural, safe, and organic space for you and your beautiful butterflies.
Visit Watters Garden Center at 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
Or online at wattersgardencenter.com.
Smell the flowers that butterflies love and turn gardens into a butterfly paradise. For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit wattersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Watters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.